Yes, my name is Daniel Cincini, and I went to Teck Soo out of Providence Hospital. He's a chief neurosurgeon, and I asked him what this hole was, and what was these two dots here. And then I asked him what this cage was over here, and I asked him what this thing was in the middle, and I asked him what that cage was over there. He told me them holes were nothing, the two dots were nothing, and that cage over there was nothing, and that cage over there was nothing, and he said, I presume boring device. He said, that's where your cage is. Then he did the surgery, and it came up with these flashes that you can't see anything, where he took this undocumented cage out from this side, and then he stuck a cage up here at L3, L4, and you can't see too much there either, what he did. The boring device is still there, and the other broken cage is over there. The two dots are gone now. And I'm going to show you another picture that I obtained after his surgery the next year. I obtained the other CT CAT scan with a 3D image. Again, this is a CT CAT scan 3D image. This is the one that shows the cage next to his cage. His cage is on this side. He put 3 metal flashings here to throw off the camera from the first the one picture that you've seen the blotted out. This is what he was trying to hide. The cage he took from the L5S1, the undocumented one, and put it next to his cage with metal flashing there to throw off the camera. Then in my T-section, he made an incision, which I'll show you in the next picture, and he put this bullet, it looks like a .22 long with a lead head on it. I'll show you the next picture where he made that incision, and I never authorized anybody to put anything in my back, whether it be a stimulator, which I don't think it is, but it could be, who knows. What he's done is never on any documents, and I'll show you the next picture where he made the incision in my back. This is where he made the incision, where he implanted whatever he implanted there, whether it be a bullet or a stimulator. The second surgery, he did an SI joint surgery. In an SI joint surgery, they put 3 rods in through your buttocks. He went back in my back, cut this vertebrae off, and I presume he shoved it down into my back where it cracked the sacroiliac, and put a piece of metal in here, which I have no idea why he went back in my back. And God knows if he took stuff out of here, out of my wing, but you can see this wing doesn't have any of that. You can see the vertebrae still on there, and this actually has tilted your spine. But that's the only way I can get this image of him cutting off that vertebrae and putting it down in there and cracked it, and then he put a piece of metal in there to hold it together. It's not in any of the reports. This is where he made the incision when he did my SI joint surgery. It put the rods in through my buttocks, and he said that he had to go back there to get bone. And actually, he cut off that vertebrae that I showed you, and that's the incision 4.5 months later after his back surgery. He went in and did the SI joint surgery, which he said that was bad. Well, really what he did, he cut off that vertebrae and shoved it in where he took the undocumented cage out. That's what I presume. And this is a side image of my whole spine here. You can see the cage at L3, L4, posterior to my aorta, right here. That's the cage that slipped, that he put the metal flashing behind and stuck it towards my aorta. Next to his cage is right here. Then, down here, when he put the rods in, or when he cut off my vertebrae, he cracked his sac here, and that's where he took out the undocumented cage and stuck it up there. And there's the bullet or stimulator, what have you, that I never signed up for or anything to have put in my back. Teck Soo. Now, just to incite you on, enlighten you on everything that's had happened to me, I went to Teck Soo looking for help to relieve my pain from a recent accident from 12/14/2014. Like I told you before, he said the holes were nothing, the dots were nothing, the one cage on the one side was nothing, the cage on the other side was nothing. He said the cage in the middle, which it's not a cage, it's a boring device. They tried to free the one on the right side or left side, whatever way you're looking at it. They tried to free that and that broke off. This is what I presume that happened. Okay? But regardless of everything, Teck Soo covered up 9 years of unnecessary surgeries, and he committed fraud and premeditated to try to kill me with this undocumented cage. Now, when I say to try to kill you, to try to kill me, is because it is like 1.2 millimeters away from my aorta. That cage posterior at L3, L4, and you can Google it, how far your aorta is away from that. Well, you can just measure how far that cage is sticking out. And that's the undocumented cage, and that's why he put the flashing behind it. It was premeditated. And then he did the SI joint surgery to go back in my back because he couldn't make it look too long. It was only a 2.5-hour surgery. And that's why he did the SI joint surgery, and that's why he went back into my back where I showed you the incision. He went back in my back, cut off the vertebrae, and shoved it down where he took the undocumented cage out. And that's why you can't see nothing on his x-rays that, you know, where he works at Providence Hospital. Teck Soo, chief neurosurgeon, that did this to cover it up so maybe he can get clout to get his cages approved. Because, like I said, this is a 9-year cover-up. And the state knows about it, but they are not proceeding fast enough, in my opinion, maybe in their opinion, but my life is at stake. Not only has he had people calling me, he's had people come to my house, call me, threaten me. He threatened to kill me. He says, I will kill you. I know where you live. And I said, I know where you live. He says, come now, I'll kill you now. This man is insane. And it takes the best, and he is the best, because it takes the best to do what he did. The first surgery, he had his own team of nurses, and I had my own private room. After he moved that undocumented cage, because you're supposed to bag it and send it back to the FDA. And Marcia Correa from the FDA, I gave her all the information like I've just given to YouTube here. And someone needs to do something about it. Because why is it that she won't do nothing about it? Why is it that the state is dragging, which I'm thankful that if they are investigating it, which they said they are, why haven't they done anything faster? Are they waiting for me to die? My blood pressure goes up, down, my heart rate goes up, down. I'm in severe pain, severe neuropathy in my feet. I have been torn apart, my family and everything, and nobody will expedite this when it should be expedited. Why are they waiting when this cage is right towards my aorta? You know, the blood pressure going up and down, could it be leaking? That's why my legs are swollen up? Is that why maybe my stomach's swelled up? I don't know. But it sure leaves me in the heck of a bind to think, you know, what is going on? You know, and what if something happens, I get in a car accident and the seatbelt is right over that? What will happen again? You know, will I die in 15 minutes? I don't know. I don't want to be left thinking about this. I just don't. I need closure. And the only way I'm going to get closure is from YouTube. Listen, nobody cares. YouBeTheJudge.com. That is my website, and it's the best I can explain it and look at it. And, you know, you be the judge. Like I said, nobody cares. You be the judge. Thank you very much. Daniel Cincini, Teck Soo did this, and it takes the best to do this. He's got 56 complaints, okay? You have to click on a couple things on HealthGrade to get to it. But he's got 56 complaints. He did the wrong surgery. Another person suffering with neuropathy in his feet. Neuropathy is the worst thing that you can endure in your whole life. I've had numerous surgeries in my back, 5 different surgeries, and that's all he did was cover it up. And I'm telling you, the neuropathy is the worst thing in the world. I had a friend of mine that killed himself because of neuropathy. And there's been a couple times where I wanted to jump out the window. This man knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He is the best, and it takes the best to do what he did to cover up this surgery. 2 separate surgeries to cover up 9 years of lies. I'll always show you documents that substantiate everything that I'm saying about how the radiologists lie and how they all cover up for each other and no one will tell on each other. I had a lady from Channel 4 News come out to my house, and she told me that her girlfriend was pooping and peeing on herself from Teck Soo. Okay? And I asked her, why didn't you put my stuff out there? She says, you have 4 major hospitals that are involved. Where would we go to have surgery? And you know what? After the state sent this investigator to investigate my claim, and I believe that he did do his job right, and I believe the state is doing their job, you got to have faith. But you know what? I shouldn't have to wait this long. But at the same token, all my doctors ran from me. At 27 years of my family doctor said aggressive nature. Are you joking me? I've never, ever said anything to him, never got mad at anybody. We're all like family. And he just leaves me after an investigator gets involved. And that's what happens. Nobody wants to tell against nobody. Nobody wants to step forward and do the right thing because it would be a can of worms that would be opening. How many other people out there have similar problems that they don't even know what's wrong with their back, or maybe they don't have the common sense or mechanically inclined to figure this stuff out. I have a 6th grade education, and I wish I would have stayed in school, but I worked, okay, and I had to work. And I just can't believe other people can be out there suffering like this and not have this kind of evidence that I have. Them are actual CDs that I have, that I've uploaded, and that I've saved, and my family and everybody else has copies of it. I am afraid for my life. I called this one company, and I'm not going to mention their name, but I called them up, and they said, you will only see 2 dots with my cage. You will see the cage on a CT CAT scan and the 2 dots. The only thing I'm asking of YouTube is, please, you be the judge. This is where they put the bullet stimulator, what have you. This is the cage that he took from the L5S1, and he stuck it posterior towards my aorta. My aorta's in the front. As you'll see, the next picture is going to show you where your aorta is between L4 and L3. I mean L3, L4. And this is your flashing he put on there to distort the other picture I showed you, and his cage is right next to that. This is your aorta here, and it splits off down your legs this way from your heart up here. And then this is L4, this is L3, L4, and this is your disc. This is where he put the metal flashing, and then he put that cage right inside next to my aorta. If I move the wrong way or something, I'm going to bleed to death in 15 minutes. It's 1.2 millimeters, if that, from my aorta. Yes. I want to say one last thing. I want everybody to know that Teck Soo, okay, he is not a stable man, and he should have his license withdrawn from him, okay, because what he did to me, God knows what he can do to others that haven't went underneath the knife from him yet. And what about the people, the 56 people that complained against him, that never got anything, never got an investigation or anything, or no one would be able to have the evidence like I had? He should not be practicing. Go to my website, www.nobodycaresyoubeethejudge.com. Thank you. God bless. All lives matter.